Welcome to the Deep Dive, learner. We're bypassing the surface level today. We've gone deep into the material you wanted to understand. The power of belief.
That's right. We're really getting into the mechanics of it.
And our main source, Thibaut Meurisse's Master Your Beliefs.
Yep. Think of it as a practical guide, how beliefs get made and how you can, actively use them.
To change your life, basically.
Yeah.
And maybe impact others, too.
Exactly. Taking the reins of that inner world.
Okay, so first off, Meurisse says belief isn't just wishing. It's a skill.
Yeah, something you can actually practice and improve.
He even calls it a way to positively distort reality. What's that about?
Well, I think it means you have agency, right? It's not fixed.
Like a muscle.
Exactly. You can train it. You're not stuck with the beliefs you started with. You can build new ones.
Okay, but where do they come from in the first place? He mentions two main things.
Two big streams.
Yeah.
That internal chatter, your self-talk.
The voice in your head?
Right. And then external input stuff from the outside world and how you interpret it.
Let's start with the inner voice then. It's easy to ignore, but
it's powerful. Meurisse points out how repeating negative thoughts really makes them stick. They become solid beliefs.
like a broken record playing the same negative track over and over.
Yeah, exactly that. It just wears a groove in your mind.
And that voice often picks up cues from outside, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Like a kid hearing, "You're not smart enough," again and again.
It becomes their inner voice. They internalize it. Our environment kind of sets the defaults for that self-talk.
So those early experiences, parents, school, they really shape things.
For sure. They're like the initial mold.
Yeah.
Constant criticism. You might believe you're never good enough. Parents worried about money. Maybe a lifelong scarcity belief takes hold.
But there's hope. He says you can change the script.
Right. Two main ways. Changing that self-talk directly.
And consciously choosing your environment. We'll get more into how later, I guess.
Yeah.
But this idea of really strong belief, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Where's the line? Belief or delusion?
That's a really important question. And he tackles it with his own story.
About his writing career.
Yeah. Early days, things weren't, taking off. Low blog traffic, book sales were poor, even losing money sometimes.
But he kept believing.
He held on to the vision. But, and this is crucial, he acted on it.
Ah, okay. Belief plus action.
Exactly. He didn't just daydream. His success, becoming a full-time writer, controlling his schedule, it happened because belief fueled action.
So it's not just wishing, it's taking that first step, even if it's small, and sticking with it.
Right. Delusion is often passive, right? Just wishing. Real belief makes you engage, try things, learn, keep going. Even when it's tough, it's active.
He also really pushes this idea that belief is learnable, like playing chess or meditating.
Yeah, he talks about his own journey, feeling insecure, inadequate.
We've all been there.
Totally. But then he found self-help ideas and realized, wait, if I cultivate this belief, almost anything I really want is possible.
And he mentions a strategy for that, small wins.
Yeah, achieving small goals consistently. It builds this evidence file in your mind. Like, see, I can do things. Keeping promises to yourself and others.
Building self-trust, step by step, which feeds the belief. Okay, here's an interesting angle. Belief is neutral, like nature.
Yeah, that's a fascinating point.
Success follows successful actions, regardless of the specific belief. What does that imply?
It puts the responsibility squarely on you, doesn't it? Belief itself isn't magical. It's a tool.
So the universe isn't judging your beliefs. It's just responding to your actions.
Kind of, yeah. The power is in choosing beliefs that drive positive action, beliefs that serve you, help you grow. Or you can choose doubt. It's your call.
And since we all have this ability to believe.
Right. It's inherent. Can't be taken away.
Meurisse says it's basically our responsibility to use it, to design the life we want, regardless of where we start.
Exactly. No excuses about circumstances or lack of support. It's about owning that innate power, reclaiming it.
He also says belief is always there, always accessible, like a resource inside us. And he asks, okay, if you really knew that, if you were totally convinced you could tap into this power anytime, what would you do differently?
That's a powerful question. It challenges that feeling that belief is fragile or scarce.
Right. If it's abundant, always available. Maybe some fears seem smaller. Maybe you take bigger risks.
Yeah, it opens things up. An internal abundance mindset.
And the final idea in this section. Pursuing goals with strong belief isn't just selfish. It's a gift.
A gift to the world, yeah.
How so?
Because when you act with that conviction, it inspires others. It plants seeds of possibility. Your confidence becomes, like, contagious.
So you become a source of inspiration, showing what's possible, a ripple effect.
Exactly. You lift others up just by pursuing your own potential with belief.
Okay, so let's talk about belief in action, how it shapes identity.
Right. The book says if you believe you can improve, you look for ways to improve. Simple as that.
But if you don't believe it,
You stay stuck. It reinforces feeling powerless.
and there's that Tony Robbins quote,
Yeah.
the most certain person wins. Belief is persuasion.
Yeah, certainty is compelling. Your belief system really becomes your operating system, dictating who you are and how you show up.
And then this idea, thoughts create reality. If they're charged up with desire and focus,
And we visit it often, yeah. They generate the impulse to act.
turning the intangible into the tangible.
He uses his own story again, right? Quitting his job to write.
Driven by belief, but also backed by action he'd already taken.
Crucially, yes. He'd written books, got reviews, built a side business. The belief wasn't just floating there. It was grounded in prior effort.
And he warns against letting others limit your beliefs. That Henry Ford quote.
Whether you think you can or you can't, either way, you're right. Classic. It really hammers home the power of your own conviction.
But what about coming across as arrogant when you're building that strong belief?
The confidence versus arrogance line. It's tricky.
He uses Bruce Lee's mission statement, really specific goals.
Yeah, incredibly specific. That's presented as pure confidence, rooted in his own potential.
Versus, say, Muhammad Ali proclaiming he was the greatest, maybe before he'd fully proved it.
Right. The book suggests maybe that could be seen as bordering on arrogance early on, but the key distinction seems to be the motivation. Is it about your own potential or needing to feel superior?
Confidence is internal. Arrogance needs external validation, maybe.
Something like that. True confidence doesn't need to put others down.
And then identity as a choice. This is fascinating.
The story of the guy who took an IQ test.
Yeah. Believed he wasn't smart, test says he's a genius, and suddenly...
He starts acting like one. And achieving amazing things, it just shows how much power those self-labels have.
The author contrasts it with his own public speaking struggles early on. Lack of confidence in that area held him back.
So many limits are just these false identities we adopt, and belief is the key to changing them.
Which leads to taking responsibility. Our beliefs drive behavior. Behavior gets results, so choose beliefs carefully.
Right. Look at areas where you're not getting the results you want. What are the excuses?
Because people with high self-belief focus on reasons they can succeed.
Exactly. They look for solutions, not justifications for failure. It's a mindset shift. Proactive.
And finally, spotting those limiting beliefs like, rich people are greedy.
Yeah, how can you attract wealth if you subconsciously think wealth is bad?
So you need to find counterexamples. Rich people who are generous.
Exactly. Challenge the assumption. And he shares that story about the business owner.
The one he didn't think was brilliant.
Right. But the guy was running a successful business. It proved that sheer self-belief can often be more important than raw talent.
Belief trumps perceived ability. Wow. Okay, so how do we build these crucial beliefs? Where do we start?
Well, Meurisse says the absolute starting point, the game changer, is choosing to believe you can change things just by changing your thoughts.
That's the moment you stop being a victim.
Exactly. You become the architect, you take control.
And when you swap out those disempowering beliefs,
New possibilities open up. New people come into your life. New ideas surface. Your inner world starts changing your outer world. That's the core belief.
okay, so he gives us 7 fundamental beliefs to build on. Number 1.
The universe is on your side.
Instead of feeling like everything's against you.
Try believing things happen for you, even challenges. They're lessons, opportunities.
How does that change things?
It reframes failure completely. It's not a verdict, it's feedback. It builds resilience.
Okay, belief 2.
If others can, you can.
So stop thinking others are just naturally smarter or luckier.
Right. He uses his Japanese learning example, tons of effort involved. It's usually about the work, not just innate genius.
So believe you're just as capable and then do the work.
Precisely. Focus on the actions needed to build the skill.
Third, fundamental belief.
You can always improve. The growth mindset idea.
So it's not, I'm not good enough. It's
I'm not good enough yet. Big difference.
focus on learning, becoming unstoppable. Progress might be slow at first, but it's always possible.
Embrace being a learner.
Number 4.
If you can do something once, you can repeat the process.
Combating that, was it just a fluke feeling after success?
Yeah, assume you can replicate it. Just focus on taking that first step again. Build momentum.
5th belief.
You can figure things out. Believing in your own resourcefulness.
Like Meurisse believing he could write a book in a language that wasn't his first.
Exactly. Trusting that you can find solutions, overcome hurdles, see yourself as someone who finds a way.
Number 6 is a bit counterintuitive, maybe. Failure is inevitable.
And leads to long-term success. Key addition.
So failure isn't the enemy.
It's feedback. Essential data. Success and failure are part of the same process. The most successful people often failed the most. They just learned from it.
Embrace it as a course correction tool.
You got it.
And the 7th, final one.
Your success is inevitable.
Whoa, that's a big one.
It kind of flows from the other 6, right? If you believe all those things,
Then success becomes the logical outcome.
it changes everything. How you think, feel, act. It builds determination. Doesn't mean it's easy, but the mindset leads to results over time.
An extraordinary mindset for extraordinary results.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the foundations. Now, the belief formula,
Yeah, he breaks it down to 4 controllable parts.
let's hear it.
Empowering environment, plus repeating action, plus intense desire, plus willingness to face discomfort equals unshakable belief.
Okay, empowering environment. Mental, social, physical space.
Right. Positive thoughts, supportive people, a space that helps you do what you need to do, setting the stage.
Repeating action. Do the work.
Consistently, building evidence, reinforcing the belief through experience. Belief in motion.
Intense desire. The why.
Yeah, connecting emotionally. Why does this belief, this goal, really matter to you? That's the fuel.
And willingness to face discomfort. Stepping outside the comfort zone.
That's where the growth happens. Confronting fears, realizing you're capable of more.
And he says these are all in our control. It's an inner game.
Totally. It puts the power back in your hands.
Okay, let's dig into empowering environment first. Mental environment, thoughts, and emotions.
Right. Negative thoughts block progress. So how do you change them?
Reprogramming. Replacing the negative with positive through repetition.
Like Steve Pavlina listening to audiobooks constantly, filling the mind with empowering stuff.
Affirmations, too. Positive self-talk.
Yeah. Rewiring the brain, boosting your state, but focusing on what you want, not what you don't want. That's key.
And visualization. He has steps for that.
4 steps. Relax first. Then create a vivid mental movie of what you want.
Really see it.
Yeah, then feel it, engage with the emotions as if it's already real, and finally repeat. Focus on it often. Use your imagination actively.
Okay. Then the social environment. The people around us.
Hugely influential. Choose wisely. Surround yourself with positive, supportive people who believe in you.
Easier said than done sometimes. How do you find them?
He gives practical tips. Identify qualities you admire. Figure out where those people hang out. Use existing contacts. Think bigger. Go to events. Join groups online. Read their stuff.
Build your own tribe, even.
Yeah. And as you change internally, your external environment often shifts naturally too.
And the physical environment. Our surroundings.
Small changes can make a difference. Tidy workspace, healthy food accessible, exercise gear out, making the right actions easier.
Okay, next part of the formula. Repeated actions. Action builds confidence.
Absolutely. Lack of belief often comes from not trusting yourself to act.
So, habits are key. Daily habits create small wins.
Exactly. Small wins build confidence. Confidence fuels bigger action. It's a cycle.
He suggests specific habits. Daily goals, reviewing goals, meditation, gratitude.
Consuming inspiring stuff. Self-reflection, exercise. Yeah, a whole toolkit.
Building a positive, resilient mindset through daily practice.
That's the idea.
And implementing habits. Start small.
Crucial. Make it measurable. Start tiny so you stick with it. Use triggers. Link it to something you already do and stack them up. Morning rituals are great for this.
Like a 30-day challenge to lock it in.
Good way to start.
And taking greater action. What's the distinction here?
Between true actions, stuff that actually moves you forward, and feel-good activities.
Like endless research instead of actually doing the thing.
Exactly. Analysis paralysis. Action gives feedback, even if it's failure. You learned. Avoid information addiction. Focus on producing, not just consuming.
Got it. Third element, intense desire. The why.
Yeah, a thought without desire is powerless. You need that emotional drive.
If you're not clear on why you want something,
You'll likely fizzle out. Procrastinate, give up. Desire fuels sustained focus and action.
so emotionalize your goals. Connect them to your core values. Make them personal.
And make them specific. What does success look like exactly? Why does that specific outcome matter to you? Clarity fuels motivation.
Okay, final piece, willingness to face discomfort. Stepping out of the comfort zone.
Where the magic happens, right? Self-imposed limits shrink our world.
How do we do it?
Start small, tiny steps outside your comfort zone, like his YouTube video example.
Challenge what feels impossible right now.
And get support. Role models show what's possible. Accountability partners keep you on track. Cheerleaders offer encouragement.
Makes sense. Okay, so we build belief with the formula, but how do we sustain it? Long term.
That's where the real power lies, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not just initial excitement.
He talks about long-term thinking, big predictor of success.
Huge. We often overestimate the short term, underestimate the long term.
Like his examples, learning Japanese, becoming a writer, took time.
Yeah, consistent effort over years. Long-term thinkers build steadily. They're playing the long game, the marathon.
Pace yourself, cherish the vision.
Exactly.
But what about self-doubt? It creeps in, right?
Totally normal. Meurisse says temporary self-doubt doesn't cancel out long-term belief.
As long as you don't lose sight of the big picture and keep believing you can improve.
Right. Keep faith in the process, like he learned with his writing. It's not instant, it's consistent effort.
Which brings us to determination, grit.
Essential for anything worthwhile. Fueled by believing you can figure things out and improve.
Like Edison, persistence pays off.
And that core belief for grit. Others will give up, therefore I will succeed.
Ooh, that's powerful, because most people do quit too soon.
Leaves the field open for those who persevere, and grit is learnable, remember?
How do we build it? Strategies.
3, he suggests. Visualize worst-case scenarios and plan your response. Pre-decide your giving up criteria specific conditions, not just feeling bad one day.
Avoid impulsive quitting.
And learn from others' perseverance stories, like Carolee Takacs, the shooter. Inspiring stuff.
And specific actions for shifting to long-term thinking.
7 of them. Create a long-term vision. Think about it often. Vision boards, reminders. Schedule time for big picture thinking. Learn to love the process itself. Let go of FOMO, focus on your path. Be patient, and focus on all the reasons you can succeed.
Wow, that's a solid list. Finally, winning the emotional game.
Because emotions go up and down, we need resilience.
Negative emotions distort thinking. How?
They cast a spell repetitive negative thoughts. They filter everything, taint perception. And they attract more negativity, a downward spiral.
So, how to manage them? 3 tips.
1, you are not your emotions. They're temporary, like clouds.
Okay.
2, don't bundle negative feelings.
Yeah.
Deal with issues separately.
Don't let them snowball.
Right. And 3, avoid big decisions when highly emotional, good or bad. Wait for neutral ground.
Makes sense. Then, self-compassion. A safety net.
Absolutely. Stops you wasting energy beating yourself up. Many people just never learned how to be kind to themselves.
He busts some myths,
Yeah.
like needing to be harsh.
Yeah. Myth 1, harshness works better. Nope. Compassion builds resilience. Myth 2, it's relk. Nope, it's strength, emotional intelligence. Myth 3, it's selfish. Nope, it gives you more energy for others.
So how to cultivate it?
Try a 7-day challenge. Stop negative self-talk, practice kindness, and actively change your inner voice. Replace criticism with encouragement.
Treat yourself like a friend.
Basically, yes.
He mentions 4 types of motivation quickly.
Love, pain, desire, ego, drivers.
And emphasizes focusing on the process again.
Yeah, goals matter, but sticking to the daily actions is key. Success is lived daily in your efforts.
Okay, so learner, wrapping this up, remember that incredible power within you. You can build confidence, shape your reality through belief.
And maybe use that understanding to help others find their belief too.
Let those foundational beliefs guide you.
Wow.
Thoughts create reality. The universe supports you. You're capable. You can improve. You can repeat success. You can figure things out. Failure is a teacher. Success is inevitable.
Integrate those, build that strong foundation.
And now, check in. How do you feel right now? Seriously, notice the feeling.
That awareness is the first step to managing emotions. Feelings are often physical sensations, right? Not just thoughts.
So important. Understanding and managing emotions determines so much of our quality of life. They color everything, guide us. They're tools for growth.
And yet we don't really get taught how to do it, do we?
Not formally, no. Which is why resources like Meurisse's other book, Master Your Emotions, can be so helpful.
It sounds like a practical manual for understanding where emotions come from, survival stuff, ego, external triggers, and how to use them constructively.
Exactly. Tools for growth.
Definitely worth exploring for anyone wanting to dive deeper into that side of things.
So, learner, as you reflect on belief and emotion, here's a final thought. What one small step can you take, maybe even today, to become more aware of your beliefs and your feelings? And how might that awareness start changing your reality?